My parents always made my golden child brother the priority and dismissed every word I say about my important event. Now, they are wrecked because they missed my wedding. Growing up, my younger brother Mike was the golden child, while I was discarded. My mother became one of those obsessive boy moms, and my father, though loving, never stood up for me. The only person who ever defended me was my grandfather, but he lived far away. Mike, knowing he was the favorite, reveled in it, tormenting me and getting me in trouble for anything he could. He was spoiled rotten and had no real talents besides football, which earned him a scholarship. Meanwhile, my parents completely neglected me. They didn't spend a dime on my education, claiming my college fund had been used after a fire, only for me to later find out they had given that money to Mike for a car and a house. They never attended my major life events, including my high school and college graduations, always putting Mike first. A year ago, my boyfriend Lucas proposed to me. We're private people, so we didn't announce it on social media. When I told my parents, they dismissed it with a casual, "That's nice." Despite this, Lucas encouraged me to invite them to the wedding. They never responded to the invite, and every time I visited, my mother would ignore my wedding plans to gush about Mike's achievements. At one point, fed up with being overshadowed, I mentioned I was planning an important event. My mother immediately said they wouldn't be available because Mike had his last game of the season that day. Given their history, this favoritism didn't surprise me. They had skipped my past milestones for his activities, so I decided to be petty. I told them it was fine and didn't mention that the event was my wedding. Fast forward to a few weeks ago, I got married. It was a beautiful, intimate ceremony with Lucas's family, my grandfather, and friends. My relatives kept asking why my parents weren't there, and I simply stated that they had to attend my brother's game. My grandfather was furious, but otherwise, everything was perfect. After the wedding, Lucas and I left for our honeymoon, turning off our phones. When we returned, we were met with a storm of angry messages, mainly from my mother and Mike. My father's side of the family had exposed my parents' absence on social media, and the post went viral in their community, leading to public shaming. Even my grandfather personally berated my father to the point of tears. Surprisingly, my father finally broke. He was devastated over missing my wedding and was deeply shaken by my grandfather's disapproval. In a shocking turn, he rebelled against my mother and even threatened divorce unless she made things right with me. Suddenly, my mother, who had ignored and insulted me for years, started sending desperate, pity-filled messages. Update. After reflecting on everything, I agreed to meet my parents and Mike in a neutral location. My father's siblings came along for support. My father looked like a broken man, my mother seemed furious and embarrassed, and Mike was just annoyed. I confronted them about their neglect and abuse, stating that I was done with them. My mother kept trying to interrupt, but my aunt shut her down every time. I asked why they treated me this way, and the responses were shocking. My father only cried and apologized without giving a real answer, which my uncle scolded him for. My mother, on the other hand, admitted she simply didn't like me. That was it. No justification, no deeper reason. She just disliked me. And Mike? He enjoyed making me miserable and soaking up attention. I then brought up the wedding invitation. My parents swore they never received one. At first, I thought they were lying, but then I showed them the messages I had sent, which they also claimed not to have received. That's when the truth came out. Mike had intercepted the wedding invitation when he visited, ripped it up, trashed it, and deleted my texts from their phones. My parents had never actually seen the invite. When confronted, Mike shrugged it off, saying my wedding wasn't as important as other things. For the first time, my parents actually got mad at him. He threw a tantrum, crying crocodile tears, and I'll admit, I enjoyed watching them scold him. But then my mother dismissed it all as a misunderstanding and demanded I clear their name. That's when I truly snapped. I told them that whether or not they saw the invite, they knew I was planning a wedding and still didn't care enough to ask about it. Then another revelation came to light. There was never a football game that day. My parents had used my lack of knowledge about football to make up an excuse. In reality, they had taken Mike to Disneyland because he wanted to go. Apparently, they had done this multiple times in the past, lying about important events to cover for his tantrums. I was beyond furious. I called my father a weak man who never stood up for me, told Mike he was a pathetic leech who would never amount to anything, and told my mother she was a narcissist and a sorry excuse for a human being. At some point, she tried to interrupt me, but I shut her down so forcefully that the entire park went silent. I ranted about everything: the favoritism, the neglect, the blatant cruelty. My anger and pain poured out all at once. By the end of it, I spat at them that I was disowning them. I no longer considered them my family, and they would never be a part of my life again. My mother screamed at me as I walked away, but I didn't care. I was done. For the